If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Jack Harlow is about to drop his new record, Come Home The Kids Miss You, tomorrow on Friday, May 6th. I made a video yesterday going over everything that we know about this new record, so if you're interested in all the information on this, I'm talking about what the title means, all the trailers, I'm talking about the cover art, the singles, the track list, features, all of that. Make sure you go check out that video I made yesterday. Very, very interesting for all the fans that want to know more about this. But today I wanted to go over the expectations that we can have on what we can hear on this new record. So today we'll talk about what we can all expect from this new record. So let's jump straight into this. So, as I always say, expectations can always be based on certain things that we know about the record so far. So let's start with the most basic and obvious thing, which is the singles. We've gotten 2 singles so far, Nail Tech, which was the first one that released before we even knew that the album was coming out. I liked it quite a bit. I thought that it had that, classic Jack Harlow just going smooth over a beat type of vibe. The video was also pretty, funny, and I just thought that was a really solid track. And when that dropped, we kind of knew that something new was coming. We also got First Class, obviously, because that is going insane on TikTok and all of the social medias, of course. I mean, even the snippet was already, blowing up like that. So I think that one will also play a huge role in promoting the record and already having some sales in before it drops and all of that. So First Class is essential to this album dropping. But from these 2 singles, we can take, some things that can be sure to be on this record. Let's start with Nail Tech. Now, I've seen these videos going around where people basically compare the verse, the flow, the instrumental, the cadences that Jack uses on Nail Tech, and they compare them to Industry Baby. And when you actually have it side by side compared, they do sound very similar. So in this case, I think that the label was like, yo, we've seen that this works. Jack's verse on Industry Baby is a pretty, solid verse and has people really like that verse. And they just thought, okay, how can we recreate this? And it worked again on Nail Tech. So I think, they're just kind of recreating what works. And I hope that we don't see that in, all of the record. Because I think Nail Tech is a nice track, but it's not like that's something that we hadn't heard before. Tracks like Nail Tech are, Run the Bass Jack Harlow tracks that we've heard a couple of times before, especially when they sound so similar. So I think that there is going to be a lot of influence from the label on here trying to make this as commercially accessible as possible, but I hope that Jack does stay in creative control over what happens with the track list, and I hope that we don't just get these, recreating what worked in the past type of things on here. Now, when we look at First Class, obviously the most important part about that track is the Fergie sample, the First Class Fergie sample. And I really hope that we're going to see some more, sampling on this record. It's not like Jack hasn't sampled in the past, but it was never like a core element of his instrumentals. He always used to rap about these very eerie and airy type of instrumentals that are always compared to Drake, but we'll get to that in a second. And on First Class, I thought he did really well on a track that, has some vocal chops in there, maybe has a sample reversed here, and just playing around with it a little bit. Jack has also said in interviews, for example, for Vogue, that he wants every track to have its own characteristic and its own personality, and he's taking inspiration from Kanye in this sense. So I do hope that some of that will be displayed when we're getting this album and we actually have the final product. That is one of the biggest hopes that I have for this. But as we can kind of take from both of these singles that Jack is just, getting smoother and smoother every record, flowing on these instrumentals. That's probably his unique selling point, that he can just hop on like a chill beat and he's just so smooth riding the beat that it just seems so effortless. Effortless is probably the best word to say this. So I think that is pretty sure that we're going to get that on this new record. I just mentioned that he uses a lot of Drake sounds in the past, and we've gotten 2 trailers for this thing so far. The first one was called Are You in a Good Space to Hear What I'm About to Tell You, which featured, him kind of showing footage of the recording process of this record. record. And we also got a second one just called Friday, because he released it this week, that gave us a little bit more insight into maybe some of the narrative of the story, but I go into all of that in the video yesterday. But I want to get, what I want to get at is that in both of those trailers, we've gotten instrumentals as the background music. And these sound very much like the ones that I just described, those Drake instrumentals with like some very reverby, eerie type of sounds in there. And I do like that. I thought that was one of the strongest points on That's What They All Say. And I'm glad that he's recreating it on this new record again. And that is, of course, not to forget that he actually has a Drake feature on this record when you look at the track list. And there have been, certain leaks going around. I dropped a video on that, of course, when that happened. But for the Have a Turn track, which now is likely transformed into this new song we got, but that went around, and we knew that there's a Drake feature on here, so it does make sense that the two of them linked up. Another snippet we had was that Dua Lipa snippet he shared on YouTube, and I thought that sounded really solid as well. I hope he's a bit more in his bag of like talking his shit on here, like just proving to everybody that, he's not just this white boy from Kentucky. He can actually rap and, go hard on these verses. And I thought that Dua Lipa track sounded pretty solid so far. So I hope that we get that whole vibe throughout the entirety of that track. Also, looking at the track list, we can look at the features. They're looking really solid. All in all, this looks like a pretty solid sophomore record. I do want to point out that there's a Justin Timberlake feature on here, though. And I don't know, it's not 2009 no more. I don't know who cares about that anymore. That's kind of my fear again, that the label is having a lot of influence on here and wants to push this in more of a pop direction because they think that Jack will have more success there, while I do, and most of the fans want him to stay more more hip-hop, because we've just seen people go pop so many times, and it just seems commercially very easy to make more money and get a bigger influence in that sense. But I think for Jack's long-term career, staying true to his core hip-hop and rap fans and where he came from is going to be more important. So that's kind of all the information we have on this. I'm very excited for this record. I loved That's What They All Say. It really surprised me. I thought that the record was going to be way worse, and I hope we get some more storytelling on here, because I loved some of the storytelling he had on That's What They All Say, and I hope that he further improved on his pen game in this new record as well. I'm looking forward to, of course, all the features we have, 4 in total. I also made a video going over the track list the other day, and as I said, if you're interested in all the other information on this record, make sure you go check out the video I dropped yesterday. So, Jack Harlow, May 6th, tomorrow is going to be the release date of Come Home, The Kids Miss You. All the stuff that I, of course, interpreted in this video is just my own thoughts on this, my own views. Now I want to know what you think about this. Are you excited for Come Home, The Kids Miss You? What were your expectations, going into this? And do you agree with some of the predictions that I made in this video, just over the basic evidence that we have so far? All of this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.